It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the time of the year when kids are going back to... I never liked school. Never. Ever. I used to cry the day before. I tried to make that day last forever. It was always... We started the day after Labor Day, and Labor Day I tried to make last forever. Because I never liked school. Never. Even when I was in grad school, what am I, 28, 20? I'd go 5. We'd sit in class for the first class. I'd go 5, 4, 3, and the summer's over. And that's what I would say, it's over. Up on a billboard, Bo Nix, Bodacious. They already started, this is the greatest time of year. Football's coming back. And they already have a billboard in Manhattan, Park Avenue, a Bodacious for Bo Nix. I'm kind of blocking it right now. You see, yeah, you can see it right there if I move my head a little bit. But I kind of liked it. I like it a lot. Is he the Heisman? You have to be on a winning team. I mean, I think the last time a guy on a losing team with Paul Hornick was on a losing team, but usually it's on a team that's going to win it all or close to it. That's what you have to be. You have to be that guy that's going to, playing for a national championship or close to playing for a national championship. Who the hell won the Heisman? Who was the Heisman? So I'm trying to remember. Who won the Heisman this past season? I'm blanking, man. I'm blanking. And let me give Josh and the company some love because I now have 21 subscribers on my YouTube channel. I need 29 more, but we have 21. So I want to thank you. Oh, Caleb Williams, he won, and they didn't have a great season, but they were over. They went to a bowl game. They could have played in the Pac-12 championship game last year, but they ended up yeah, right. And then that fell apart. Then they lost to Tulane in the Cotton Bowl. But he did have a phenomenal season. Oh, and I'm watching. I have the Yankee game on, and Alonso, I think, hit a fan with that ball. Yeah, he just rocked one. Woo! 36 home runs in the season. Some guy has a polar bear thing on his head. I mean, I have it on because it's sports, and it's live. Last night I was watching the World Cup, which I thought was live. It was from 4 days ago. I was like, God damn it. I missed that shit. I was like, I'm watching I'm like, oh, who's going to win this game? Because I saw today, now we have England beat Australia. A lot of fans, local fans were pulling for Australia in this World Cup. They lost 3-1. So it's England in their first ever World Cup final against Spain. England, Spain, and I passed Nike yesterday. And what did I see at the Nike? I saw the all the U.S. stars, Rapinoe, Sophia Smith, and yeah, I mean, very disappointing. That the women are doing what the men used to do, and now the expectations are really high with the women, and they play like shit. There's no other way around it. Carly Lloyd is doubling down that she was very critical of the team. She said it's not the same players, not the same team. Said there was divas on the team. They wouldn't show up for massage appointments. They had a little bit of an attitude. They didn't have that older player who would do shit, whatever. I think a lot of things didn't work out. And it was very, 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 very ugly. The Yankees are 60-60. The Braves won their first season series against the Mets since 2001. Now, I mean, 3-run home run in the first inning for Severino gave up to Ozuna. They gave up a 2-run homer to Acuna. He gave up 5 runs. His ERA in the first innings over 14. It's only gave up 5 runs, so his ERA actually went down in the game, but they lost again. I mean, they had more errors, too, than hits won. Come on. They're 60-60. So they're 120 games. They got 42 left. They got to go 30-12 the rest to hit 90. They're not doing it. And they could have it's their worst record after 120 games since 95. I mean, what else are we going to talk about? They're not a good team. They said that, they're not playing well. They have to have a fight, blah, blah, blah. I could talk about this until my head blows up, but I'm not. And I also saw, what did I see? Mookie Betts was up on the on deck, and the guy says, if you hit a home run, I'm going to name my kid middle name after you. And he hit a home run. He went on Twitter. He looked up, and there the guy named his daughter's middle name Mookie. I'm like, well, give her the first name Mookie. That's what I would say on that front. But they didn't on that front. But I think something, blah, blah, Mookie Mancuso. That was the name they went with. So I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I was like, I saw that. I was like, I mean, okay. I mean, that's what you felt you had to do. And it's, I reached out to Jeff Pearlman, who wrote the book about Bo Jackson. He's written a bunch of stuff. And I told you that my cousin Hal, I don't know if I said this yesterday, I think I did, that my cousin Hal had sent me a clip of Bo Jackson. And he said, Bo Jackson is the greatest athlete. And he goes, better than Dion. He just was the best athlete. And, people don't realize how good an athlete. Like, he hit a pop fly so high. And he found a guy who ended up playing college baseball, that by the time it came down, Bo Jackson was already on third base. That's how high it went up in high school. And Bo doesn't like talking about himself, but a lot of people do like talking about him. And that he ran like under a 4.4 with pads on. I mean, that's how fast he was. I guess he got to the NFL, and Tom Flores didn't think he was, how fast he was. Well, he ended up running. That's how great an athlete he was. So I reached out to him. I said, love to be on the podcast. I said, you're a great storyteller. And he goes, thanks, Jay. But he didn't. But he didn't really answer me. Like, dude, I want you on the podcast. Thanks, Jay. That's what he said. Which I like that he called me Jay. That's how I got JD Talking Sports. My grandma used to call me JD, and I like when people call me Jay. Some people call me Jay, and I like being called Jay. I said, all right, I like that. I like that a lot. That's a good one. So yeah, I was like, that's cool. And we had the Commissioner's Cup last night, and the game does not count in the standings. What the fuck? Why doesn't the game count in the standings? So they both keep the same record, 27-3, 24-6. The Liberty bench, Johannes scored 17 off the bench. They won 82-63. Aces came in averaging 94 points a game. Bench outscored them 28-8. They out-rebounded them 49-28. They held Asia Wilson to 9 points on 2 for 10 shooting. I mean, Jonquel Jones got the MVP. She had 16 points, 15 rebounds. They went 15 for 35, 43% from 3, while Vegas went 5 for 26. And